Hey guys, welcome back to Rockford Ordnance. I was just goofing around. It's the night before Easter and kids are home and everything's been crazy, and I was on AK Files and somebody posted a question asking about an M70 AB2T. It's a little different variant, and most of you are probably familiar with what is probably one of my favorite rifles, and that's the M70 AB2. Don't even know what I'm going to call this video yet, but I'm just going to point out the main differences and give you a little bit of what I know about the M70 AB2T. But also going to point out a lot about the M70 AB2 because it's my favorite rifle. So give you a little background. This was what started this whole damn thing. My wife probably wishes I had never seen this, but she actually bought it for me. It was a gift, forget what, Valentine's Day maybe or something, but a local shop had them and I had seen them there, and I thought, man, is that cool. This was like 12 years, 13 years ago. Right when these were, I think that's when these first started coming in, right after the sunset of the assault weapons ban. And I saw this at a local shop, and I thought, that is the coolest thing ever. Kind of wanted an all wood AK, but ended up with this. The underfolder just got me. And to tell you the truth, I completely lucked out because I knew nothing about AKs and could have just bought some total piece of crap and ended up with this. Now, it is a Century, and you know, there's Century haters, Century lovers, and neither the two shall meet anywhere along the line. Neither give up any ground, but I'll tell you what, other than, you know, stuff Century imports or did import, like Zastava and Wassers, of course, and some of the new stuff, you know, can't say anything bad about the imports, but as far as guns Century built, this is probably, I'll venture to guess, the best thing they ever put out. Now, these weren't actually built by Century. I don't believe they built any of them. I think they subcontracted them out, and that's probably why they're as good as they are. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. Obviously, it's an underfolder. You hit the button here on the side, press it in, and it folds, and the back locks in. And there's your rifle. How these came originally from Century, I've added the wood here, but they came with black polymer furniture. Plain Jane, actually like a duplicate to this wood, but pretty nice stuff. Actually, you know, there's not a ton of hand guards for Yugos out there. Actually, recently we've gotten a few new ones. What the heck is it? MTI, something. Geez, I can't remember. But they recently came out with an M-lock handguard, aluminum, that's real nice. But here, you'll see on my end cap, this is the original lower handguard, and it had a matching top one. I got a cheese grater, but it was just plain black polymer like this. And nice stuff. I put it on here because it's plain, it's sturdy, it holds up to the heat, and it works great. So I put it on here because I wanted to take these M70 AB2s back to their original format, which basically I've done. We got this surplus wood, and I cleaned it and oiled it with boiled linseed oil, and it came out absolutely gorgeous. Take a look at that. I've been kind of the guru of wood restoration lately with my Romanian shellac jobs and now this. But beautiful grain. You know, some people think it's teak and whatnot. It's beechwood. You can see by some of the scaling in it. This wood looked terrible when I got it, and it cleaned up real well. Soaked it in mineral spirits and acetone. And it took everything out. There was a little bit, and they're all gonna have it. There were some dark marks, some stains up here from where the grenade launcher sight sits, kind of holds oil in there so it gets darker. But yeah, I even got that out. So it came out nice. We put an original Yugo sling on it. I even kind of washed this to get the stains out, so it looks brand new. So let's get into the rifle. The underfolder, the stocks are real sturdy on these. You can, if you get one that's loose this way, you might have a little bit of a problem. They're all gonna have a tiny bit, but if it's loose up and down like this, it just may be worn in there and there's not much you're gonna do about it. You can tighten them up if they're wobbling this way. You can tighten them up, and how you do that is you push the button in, and you can see that raises that up there, if you can see that. Underneath is a nut, and if you look around the circumference of it, you'll find a pin. I don't know if you can see the pinhole in here, but there's a pin in there. A lot of times they're left out, other times they fall out, that kind of thing. So this one actually, I think, was missing. So that pin holds a nut, and it's kind of like a castle nut deal where you gotta tighten it or loosen it until the pinhole lines up. So I tightened it as tight as I could and got to the point where the pinhole lined up, and I went and bought some solid pins at the hardware store, or tapered pins I think it was, and drove it in to where I knew it would be flush, kind of measured it, cut it off to the length I needed, drove it in. It's been phenomenal. It's solid as a rock, doesn't move. Contrary to popular belief, people think these rifles are uncomfortable, but it shoulders really well. Sight picture's great, and I put these paracord braids on here. Just did a cobra pattern on there, and if you can see it, it's really kind of cool, and it gives a nice soft cheek weld. I put it on both sides, here and here. This one interferes a bit with the safety. The stock is cut out. If you can see, it's a little higher here to clear the safety normally, and it kind of does with the paracord, but I'm going to get rid of this side because, number one, I don't need it. I'm not a lefty, and then it'll clear. But it's a nice way to do it. The great thing about the Yugos and what differentiates them from a lot of guns are the bulge trunnions. So to get into what this video is about, the difference between the M70 AB2 and the AB2T, the main difference is the M70 AB2 has the bulge trunnions and the T doesn't. So the way I understand it is, the original guns that they came out with were milled receiver guns. And the Yugos had a penchant for always wanting to launch grenades from their rifles. Hence the grenade launcher sight and the grenade launcher. Real quick for you guys that don't know, there's a spigot that you can screw on the end in place of the slant brake or muzzle device. You screw that on, there's a blank firing adapter, it fires a blank. When you put up the sight, it also switches the port in the gas block and basically makes it a bolt action. It directs the gas from that blank to fire the grenade that you put over the spigot. So anyways, the Yugos had a penchant for wanting to launch grenades on their rifles. They wanted their soldiers to be able to do that. So the milled receiver, of course, being stout and all of that, did the job just fine. But they wanted to save some money. So they went to a stamped receiver. And the original stamped receiver was now the T and all is a Century name. The Century came up with that designation. but they came up with the slab-sided M70 AB2. And this is one of them. It originally was an underfolder, and we've put an M4 stock adapter on it, and I'll tell you a little bit about that when we're done going through this. But as you can see, you know, forget about what I've added here stock-wise, but the guns are essentially the same. Same gun, same wood, same grenade launcher, same night sights, everything, just the bulge trunnions are gone. So, Yugoslavia wanted to save some money, and they went to the, I'll call it a slab receiver, stamped. Well, what they found out once they went to that was that launching grenades was causing the receiver to wear quicker than they would like and crack in some instances. From what I understand, this was a very short run, maybe as short as 1 year if I remember correctly. Guys, I am not Misha. I don't memorize all this stuff, and I probably got most of my information from him. So, and a few other sources. But if I remember correctly, it was only 1 year for these. And so to thwart that cracking problem and wearing these receivers out, they went to the bulge trunnion of what we know today as the M70 AB2. That's the story of it. Other than that, it's the same gun. I don't know if it makes that variant rare because it was only 1 year. I mean, there was still a shitload of them out there, I'm sure. And most of these Century guns, the T's, were Mixmasters. I don't know if the numbers match on this. Cool thing is, it does have a Zastava stamped trunnion, which my AB2s don't have. But it's been scrubbed, the serial number on the trunnion. I doubt this is a matching gun, guys. Anyhow, a funny story how I got this is I won an auction on Gunbroker, and I've got a couple of these Yugos, and I wanted some more. And I saw a good deal. I couldn't believe the price. I didn't pay attention. Boom, I win the auction. It gets here. I look at it. I'm like, what the hell? First I noticed the stock was different, the underfolder. And give me a second. I'm going to show you that stock because that's kind of important here. Give me 1 second to grab. Okay, so another difference between the two guns. And this, I don't believe is due to them being Mixmasters. I believe that the slab side guns actually, well, I know they used a different stock, although here's the underfolder for that one we converted, the T, and what they were doing was using up the last of the milled guns stocks. So if you look at this one, and I'm sorry it's covered up with more of my braiding, I got braid happy here, but you see there's one rivet up front and 2 rivets back here. So 1, 2, 3, and then the swivel. Same on this side, 1, 2, 3, and the swivel. Well, that denotes this is a milled pattern underfolder stock. We go to the M70 AB2, and we actually have an extra rivet in the back here. So there's 2 rivets in back, 2 in front, then the swiveling rivet. So this actually has more rivets. So a little bit different stock. That's something else that's different about them. So anyhow, that's really the main differences and how it came into being. So let's go back and just cover a few things about these and maybe some of the differences in quality along the way too. So when it comes to the M70 AB2, folding stock, different rivet pattern. We put on the factory military grip. Of course, they Century put in G2 triggers on both of them. Yugos also have bolt hold open magazines, which this is an original, and it's in very good shape. It's got the original bluing rather than like a black oxide or a Parkerized. If you can see, really pretty bluing that they did on these. And the guns originally were blued. If you restore one or build one from a kit, boy, do the bluing. It would just be gorgeous. I mean, it's black, but it's got that hint of blue and it's polished. I mean, really, really pretty, and it holds up. Unlike some of the Chicom bluing, it holds up. I made the mistake early on. I had a buddy of mine powder coat some of them that were blued. I wish I hadn't done that, but oh well. What are you gonna do? Actually, I don't know that they were in that great a shape, or I wouldn't have powder coated them. So anyways, getting back to this, the penchant for Yugos to launch grenades also had them make a unique dust cover. On the left side of the gun is a little button right here, and there's a lock, so the recoil of the grenade launch won't blow the top cover off. So you push the little button in, push the spring guide in, and the cover comes off. The Yugos had polished bolts, and there's the bolt hold open we're talking about. When you release the mag, it releases the bolt. Lets you know that you fired the last round. So Yugos also have really pretty polished bolts from the factory. They don't coat them, Parkerize them, nitride them, whatever they're going to do. They don't do any of that. The safety is also unique to this gun. The detents, unlike other AKMs, that safety will not work on these. The detent is in a different spot. Also, the lever up here is so you can work it while the stock is folded. If you fold the stock, well, it's not going to work because I got this on here, but you can reach it with that while the stock is folded, where most AKs just have the little shelf here. Yugos also had flip-up night sights. Right now, it is in normal mode, and all you gotta do is flip that little sucker up there, and you have night sights. There's little tritium vials in there. Most of them are dead, long dead, and Century never replaced them, but there's companies out there selling them. You can put them in and add them. There were a couple variations on the front night sight, and I can show them to you here. This one happens to be just a flat with a little indent here, if you can see it, where they put some glow-in-the-dark paint for tritium paint, just a dab in there. And over the years from cosmoline and all, it's turned kind of reddish, orange, yellow, but that's where that would have been. And you just flip that up, just like the back one. We talked about the grenade launching sight. We talked about the bulged trunnions. They also have a heavier barrel, and the receiver is 1.5 millimeters thick as compared to a AKM at 1 millimeter thick, which the M70 AB2T is the 1 millimeter thick receiver. So thinner receiver. It does have the same barrel, however, looking at it, same barrel, no difference. These guns, whoever built them for Century, are exceptionally smooth. They did have super light recoil springs. I've replaced these with ALGs, but they're just, God, they're glass. I mean, just magnificent. This gun's got a few thousand rounds through it, and it's accurate. It's straight as an arrow. It shoots wonderfully. I've never had a problem with it. The rivets are done great. There's no wear on the tail, no wear on the hammer, no wear on the trunnions. God, the finish on the trunnions even. And this gun's had rounds through it, guys. They're just built so well and so straight. It's just a great gun. I can't say enough about them. I love them. I really couldn't have picked a better first rifle. I do have another one. And I've got stuff falling all over the place here. But here is another matching M70 AB2. The only way I tell the difference between the two rifles is this one has green paracord on it. Just had to have another one. Did the same thing. It had the same black polymer. I recently did this too with the boiled linseed oil and put the sling on it. And why don't I have a grip on this one? Thought I did. I have another grip here. I'll have to put it on. This is the Century grip. Comfortable grip. It's kind of square, but comfortable. Same safety, same everything as the other M70 I just showed you. However, whoever put this one together, well, I guess the detents are fine. This does look like a little bit different safety. No, I guess not. Same one. But this one's a little loosey-goosey in the back. I might hammer these rivets a little tighter just to tighten it up. That's no big deal. But everything else, this one's really tight. Same bolt hold open mags. That one's brand new. Found some new old stock. This one doesn't have the ALG spring, and when I'm talking light, I mean, God, I can just pinky this thing. It's nothing. They're super light. They run great. There's nothing wrong with them. I just thought, you know, everyone talks, ooh, they'll hit the back of the trunnion, start cracking things. I thought, well, I'll put them in for safety. Well, this one I left alone. Funny story with this gun. Found this on Gun Broker. This thing, I'll post some pictures here. It was at a pawn shop, and the gun had a Bubba camo job. Puke, OD green kinda, but pukey. The guy had wrapped the stock in rope and masking tape. It had a mag in it that was done in the pattern of the Texas flag with the star and the two stripes, and the whole gun was camo painted with Krylon, and it was peeling and coming off. When I unwrapped the tape off the stock, there was rust, and it was just a mess. You'll see the pictures. Anyhow, a little paint stripper and a little scrubbing and oiling, and that's the nicest $300. Nobody bid on it because of the paint job. But that's the nicest $300 M70 AB2 you will ever see. Not a mark on it underneath all that paint. They did a really nice park job on these. They're built on Nodex bud receivers. And yeah, this went from the ugly duckling that nobody wanted. And I knew what was underneath that paint, and I thought I'll take a shot, and I won. So anyhow, that's my other one. Let's talk about the T now, what we came to talk about. Now that I'm done bragging on my M70s here. So, like I said, this one came with this stock on it. And I actually gave this to my dad. He wanted one, and he wanted a Yugo because I talk about them all the time. And I gave him this one. But he wanted a fixed stock. He loves watching Rob Ski and the videos, and he saw this adapter, and he says, can you put that together for me? I said, sure, Dad. And then after we did that, I surprised him. I did wood on his and got him a sling, and got him the military grip and whatnot. And he's got bolt hole open mags for him too. Anyhow, what we did here is we just removed that stock, and this, I don't know who makes this. I forget. I'll have to look it up, and I'll post something down here. But I got it from AK Operators Union, and it goes through the receiver, bolts through. It's solid. as could be, and it's got the M4 stock adapter. We put the Minimalist stock on it, and it works great. The sights line up great. If you want to convert one, it's a great way to go. You can pin it. There's holes here to pin it. We didn't want to ruin the original gun, so we didn't pin it, and I don't see a need for it. It's not going to be in any operations soon. It's got a 80-year-old man shooting it at the range with me when we go out. So, like I said, it's 1mm receiver. It still has, they didn't get rid of the locking top cover. And the top cover actually is just as, yeah, same weight, same thickness, no difference. Same polished bolt. The thinner receiver, same barrel, however, I believe, let me look. Yeah, same barrel, I think. Yeah, same barrel. We also put an ALG trigger in here. He likes ALGs, and it's super nice. Super nice. Nice gun. This has an ALG spring in it as well, which for pops I probably should have left the other one in because it did increase the pressure that it takes to rack the gun. Nice trigger. So yeah, that's it. We're missing a cleaning rod in here. I gotta get him a cleaning rod, but same night sights. Oh, I wanted to show you the different variant of night sights. So, you saw the dot on the other one. This style here, if you can see, has the tritium vial in it. The tritium vial sits upright in there. And I think these are cooler. Maybe I'll switch this one out on pops. Let's see, is this the tritium? No, it's not. It must be on the other gun here. Let's see. Too many damn M70'S. But like I said, I like them. Yeah. This is the one with the vial. So, I'll show you here. There's the one with the vial if you can see it. I'm putting my hand up there so it focuses, but there's a vial that sticks in from the top. Anyhow, just something neat, you know, that they did, differences in production. And that's it, guys. You know, different stock because they were using up the milled versions, different receiver, different trunnions. That's about it. Really, the only differences. These, depending who built them for Century, there's been some problems reported with some of the rivets coming loose on these guns. Namely, I've seen a couple up front. Ginsboy on YouTube, he did a video of him repairing them. The consensus is that they bucked the rivets against the barrel instead of riveting it before putting the barrel in. So a couple have come loose. This one's had a couple thousand rounds through it. And whoever built this gun for them, I guess I got lucky. You know, this one I got Gunbroker. I just didn't see the ad. I didn't see the T. I ordered it. I was excited. When I picked it up, I went, oh, crap. Not that anything's bad, and I guess since I had two already, what's the difference? It gives me a third one in a different form. That's all. Yeah, this is working out cool. He likes it. I don't know. I'd probably, well, it's neat to have something different and try different stuff. If you do want to convert yours, I can definitively say this is a great adapter. Again, I got it at AK Operators Union. There may be some other sources out there, and I'll post the name of the company down below. And then the M4 adapter and the standard castle nut and plate and a buffer tube and the Minimalist stock. And we've got a BD2 brake on it. Essentially, we wanted to make this gun comfortable for Dad to shoot. Low recoil, the spring helps out there, the brake helps out there. Comfortable stock for them, nice trigger. And it actually works out for him because it's a lighter gun too, without those trunnions and thicker receiver. So all in all, it was a perfect fit for him. God works in mysterious ways, huh? Drops this thing in my lap and it works out for Dad. So that is my Yugo story here, guys. And like I said, I saw that post and I was itching to make a video and thought, hey, what the heck, I'd show it to you. My other Yugo, which is my go-to shoot-'em-up gun that I shoot all the time, is my NPAP. This thing you've seen in other videos. This thing's all set up with the Fab Defense stock, RS Regulate mount, primary arms, 3-power prism scope, mag pull grip. I got a regular Romanian mag in here. We use the handguard off the M70 AB2s. We've got a Kyber Customs cheese grater. This does not have night sights, BD2 brake. This is also non-bulge trunnions, just flat receiver, of course, and ALG trigger and ALG spring. And that trigger's magnificent. I can't say enough about them, guys. Go get some. They're great. Nobody pays me for that. My sling setup on this, I do sling silencers like a lot of guys out of paracord, but I braid them. They attach here, they braid, and I make them long enough so you don't get the rattle. And then HK clips that work out real good. I also make the sling. Pretty cool, different colors. And I did one on the back here too, string silencer and HK clip. Nice gun. So, you know, they're versatile. You can fill a lot of rolls with them. And there's some neat history behind them. They're underfolders, they're different, that's why I like them. So, just another M70 video for anybody else that likes them as much as I do. And this one will always be near and dear to my heart because it was my first. And I think I'm gonna take it out tomorrow and shoot it. So, thanks again from Rockford Ordnance. As always, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon, guys. Rockford Ordnance out.